Hello, hello, and welcome back to Password. We're just trucking right along in Rosy Boy's route. We continued walking in silence for a bit, with the trees becoming more scarce than the further we went. A little while longer, and the trees parted entirely, leaving us at the main road. Oh, I pushed further. I pushed forward, a little more eager upon seeing things open up. The other side of the road seemed to be a sheer cliff, with the rest of the mountain range rolling out beyond. The woods were thick even on the other mountains nearby, and I got an idea of just how high up we were. We're so high up.
Yeah, if you hadn't fallen asleep on the bus, you probably would have seen it sooner, but yeah.
Oh man. Looking out at the world from the edge of the driveway, I looked down the road, seeing that the driveway was the last thing that led here. So, following this road would take us back home, right?
Yep. This is the only road that leads up the mountain. Only way up by a car, anyway. I'm sure if you really wanted off the mountain, you could go through the forest, but you'd still need to navigate down some of the steep parts.
Or just, go down here, What was it, in like Route D? You have to do that? Well, that Dave has to do that? I nodded, slowly, looking back at the way we'd walked. Why do you think, the mansion was built all the way up here, so out of the way?
Who knows? Maybe they just really like the privacy, or maybe they got it cheap. Maybe they were up to no good and picked somewhere they'd just be a pain to get to.
Also seems like it'd be a pain to escape from if things were to go wrong, like it will in just a few days.
What makes you say that? Scared things might happen.
That struck a chord with me, making me feel a little sick.
Sorry, I didn't mean. What? I meant by that, whatever you can think of happening, there's enough things in place that someone would have already thought of it and found a solution.
Like, what? If we're the only ones up here, then... what do we do?
If there's any sort of natural disaster, you could always radio for help, but... with phones and the internet, a lot of that seems pointless. Well, if we were a bit more remote, then might be a different issue, though.
I nodded slowly, looking back at the world below. Did you ever, Did I ever thank you for organizing this trip, Roswell?
Nope. I honestly don't remember. It was no big deal, though.
Well, just in case I didn't, thanks.
You're welcome, Dave. But, tell me something.
Huh? What is it? He stares at me for a bit, watching me carefully as I stood there in the middle of the road.
Is this helping at all? Am I ever going to see the old you again?
My eyes widened for a second before it sank in what he meant, my heart dropping in my chest along with the corners of my mouth. I don't know.
But I thought...
He left his comment there, staring out at the mountains, much like I had before. What am I? Ooh,
I don't understand. This is what I assumed.
What did you assume?
I assumed that eventually you'd forget and just...
He hadn't even finished speaking before his comment was lit a fire somewhere in me, sparking a rage that I was unfamiliar with. You thought I'd forget about my dad dying? I took a step towards him, fists clenched.
No,
You thought that just because you wanted me to be happy again, that it just happened because you wanted it, that this vacation would magically fix everything?
That's not what I meant.
Then what did you mean, Roswell? What could you have possibly meant that was meant to make me feel better?
Listen to yourself. What's gotten over you, Dave? You're more rational than this.
What would you know about... Wait, And what would you know about who I am, Roswell? You've been back in my life for, what, a couple years, and you think you know everything about me?
I know that you're not normally a jerk, Dave. It's... I'm just going to put this down to you being stressed out over what's happened last night.
Stop talking like you know about that. You don't know anything about... No, you don't know everything, Roswell.
I never said I did. I just don't.
We stare at each other. At one another. My breathing slowly leveling out. But by that time, Roswell spoke.
I hoped that this would make you forget being sad. I'd hoped this would be a distraction that you could hold on to as a nice memory. But if you want to snap at me for trying, then fine. You're right. I don't know the person you were between when I moved away and when I came back. For all I know, you're just someone who...
He sniffed, wiping his face on his arm and side out. I don't know where that left us, as the pair of us just stood there in silence, not looking at one another. Just give up, Dave. Let them die. Was that what my subconscious was telling me? To just give up? To let them die? Roswell? He'd taken to standing near the edge of the road, looking out in a daze. When I said his name, he slowly turned to look at me before his eyes dipped down to the asphalt.
Yeah?
I'm sorry. He sighed out, his morale shot just from the tone of his voice.
I know. But you're not the only one that gets sad. Just remember that.
He turned to leave, and I reached out to him, but I couldn't bring myself to follow through, just standing there as he wandered back up the driveway and sighed out. Let what happens happen. I found myself staring at the spot that Roswell disappeared among the trees, wondering just how long it'd take him to get back. My hand went to my chest and I felt sick, as if something had stabbed me in the gut and was twisting the knife, hurting in a way I hadn't felt before. I should have been crying. I should have been reacting more than just standing there whining softly to myself. Some of my earliest memories involved Roswell, to the point my memories blurred as far as where they stopped from where he left and where they started again. Dad thought he was a little strange but funny. Mom liked talking to him, from what I remembered. The moment I thought about it, the more I wondered if the Roswell that I knew was still the same Roswell I remembered from growing up. Maybe we were both just different people and neither of us had noticed. Or was it my fault for letting grief consume me and I was just taking it out on him? I wondered what had happened if I was to just take a few more steps backwards, close my eyes and fall over the edge of the road. If that would just make everything better. Or if I saw Roswell in the vault again, to just not get involved. In either instance, my stomach lurched, and I took a few steps away from the edge and collapsed to my knees. Minutes ticked by as I was there in the dirt, thinking things over. But eventually, I had to get up and make my way back to the house. I trudged the length of it alone, with my thoughts, occasionally glancing into the trees to see if I could see what Roswell had noticed on the way down. Tired, I'd eventually made it back to the mansion, and without seeing anyone on the way, made my way upstairs. Okay. We're gonna visit the vault. Oh, shit, though. I don't remember the password. I'm going to need that. Scroll. Why words so long? And why keyboard annoyingly far away? Sorry, I'm going to move the mic real quick. Wait, what? Did I misspell it? Metempsychosis. There we go. Okay. This is all the same. Yes, indeed.
Thanatos!
Best character. Best boy. I still feel like I don't want to... I still feel like it's better to do that. Roswell had looked out for me. Tried his best to distract me with tricks and games. Or if they... Well, if they weren't working, he'd just start talking about something complicated that he found interesting. He kept me distracted, maybe so that I couldn't get lost in my own sadness about everything that I was missing. Maybe in doing that, I'd forgotten that he could get upset too. Oh my god. Okay, so this is that scene where he talks about with the phone, right? And you like look at the clip from when he went to the beach. That's super cute. That's so nice of Tyson.
Started with the Unker, but yeah. Asked us what we thought was happening with you and told us about the walk you guys took.
He told you that?
Told us that he put this together to try and get you to forget about being sad. The fuck does he think he is? Assuming some fucking vacation is going to make you forget.
Maybe he means well, though. Ty shrugs and settles back against the back of the sofa, scratching his chest.
What do you think? He's your friend.
I don't know.
Well, if you want to know what I think, I say fuck him. He doesn't know you like I do.
I mean, that's kind of true, though. Oh, okay. How many people has Dave slept with, and I just mean like cuddled with in bed before the start of this game? Like, kind of just has me thinking, right? Because we're told that he would occasionally sleep with Tyson, which is fucking adorable. And he would also do that with Orlando. But did they say if he did that with Roswell? I think they mentioned that he did, but like just those three, right? He never did that type of stuff with Hoss, Dean, and Sal, right? I'd maybe be down. I'd been down that way before, all the way down to the main road, in fact. I remember how high up we were, how breathtaking the view was, but beyond that, there was nothing to really see. My pace became irregular as I passed the spot Roswell spotted, whatever it was in the forest. What was it that you saw? Looking through the trees, I tried to see if I spot any to spot whatever it was. Yet another mystery on this vacation, given it's not the first time that it had shown up. But that seemed to be a common thing on this vacation, various things repeating with no real explanation. The whole vacation was Roswell's idea, but as I got closer to the end of the driveway, guilt started to creep in. He really was trying his best, and I hadn't exactly been fair to him. Roswell loves me. Repeating the revelation to myself made the guilt all the stronger. I didn't tell him about inviting Tyson. He was looking out for me, and I'd been overly critical on him. Where the strongest reminder of of that was remembering how he said other people could be sad too. There was there was every likelihood that he was just as upset about everyone leaving as I was. He was just better at hiding it. Oh, okay, so this is when he rose at the world, just yells out, right? It was no different from when I was out here with Roswell, but the sight was still breathtaking. Ah, okay. We still do that. And still tragic. I still don't. Those scenes suck. It make me feel the bad, if you will. Ah, yes. Tyson and Dean, good boys. Oh, how much of this is the same? Holy shit. Oh, okay. Roswell had mentioned finding a place to camp out when he was lost in the woods, so was this it? Cool, cool. Ah, yes, a good boy. Day 13 really is just like whoa, oh, we're in day 14 now. Wow, we're just trucking along. We're gonna finish Roswell's route so quickly, guys. Bruh. Oh, I still fucking love this flashback, right? It's got Tyson in it, so it's automatically great. It has David, who's like, he's pretty daddy, right? Like, and lately, whenever I thought of home, there were other constants too, or at least they were way back when. I found myself sitting on the lawn, looking out at the street outside my house. The world seemed small, or at least I came to realize then and there that a lot of my normal stooping around only really involved a few key areas.
It's funny, isn't it?
What is it?
You think of small, and guess who comes out?
I felt a little guilty, and I was happy to see him. I don't see anything wrong with your height, though. You're just you.
That's right.
But I don't understand, Roswell. Why are bad things happening? Was this because of something I did? Or is this a ghost or god thing? He shrugged, throwing me a look.
No idea. But I'm also just a dream, so you'd be better off asking me when you actually wake up.
Why is it that you're sassing me even in my dreams?
If you knew this was a dream, why were you expecting any different?
It's not that I was expecting any different, really. I just find it comforting. Maybe because I get the impression that these sorts of things don't bother you so much. So I can depend on you.
And when are you planning on telling me this? I've already said that I love you, so maybe you should say the same.
Man, I just don't. like Roswell in that way? Is it rude to reject him? You know, to reject a dream, Roswell? I shook my head, not feeling quite right about the prospect. After all, I didn't want to say something I didn't rightly mean. I wish I was as confident as you were in just admitting things like that, or even really knowing.
You know plenty of things, Dave. You're the artist one of the bunch, anyway.
Great. So I know colors and junk. That's just as good as knowing the important stuff.
Important is a funny word. What does it mean that something's important? What does it mean if something is important to you, but not to someone else?
I didn't realize that I could be so profound while I was sleeping.
You sure that this isn't just you? Trying to imagine what I'd sound like.
Maybe I just want to talk to you again.
You'll get your chance, Dave. Just wait until morning comes.
Interesting. Oh, he's still... Okay. Put me down as a maybe, yeah. I'm gonna go help with breakfast, given how hungry I am. I snuck into the kitchen, closing the door behind me the moment I spotted the other two.
See? I told you he wouldn't be far behind.
That's kind of creepy that you had it down to the second.
I looked between them, confused. It must have shown because Orlando seemed all too ready to explain.
Oh, the moment we got started, Roswell mentioned that you'd be joining us soon.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, maybe I should turn up the music. Yeah, that looks fine.
I didn't believe him, but he just started counting.
And he got it down to the second?
I was a couple off, actually. It was only... If only I was that magical.
I think you're plenty magical. That toast was was pretty magic, at least.
But I didn't make that last batch.
He gestured with a spoon, a bowl cradled under his arm before he sat both on the counter.
Looking for more, Dave?
Or to help. I haven't been this hungry in a while, so...
Hungry enough that you can't wait? You even left your coffee out there by the looks of things.
Oh.
Don't worry. I can make you another cup. Roswell, you almost finished mixing that yet.
Oh, right. Not too much longer.
Grumbling, Roswell, went back to mixing. Although he seemed to be trying to rush things along, earning him an eye roll from Orlando. That's cute. I continue to stare at the back door, wondering what would have happened to Jack had if Jack had been just a little faster, or if Benson had been a little slower. The thought caused a chill to run down my spine, cold enough that I was overcome by the sudden desire to just shake the feelings away. When I turned around, I noticed Roswell just standing there, watching me with a calm smile on his face. How long have you been standing there?
Long enough.
And you didn't say anything?
I'd rather not spook you after what happened. You seem to be struggling enough with the prospect of going outside to be worrying about me.
Doesn't stop you from piling onto Orlando. You know how he gets spooked.
That's because Orlando's reactions are hilarious, and it's all in fun. Much like how he pokes fun at me and my height, or putting my snacks up just out of reach, that I have to get a chair to use as a boost.
Yeah, well, I guess that makes sense. I started to fidget with my hands, looking back at the door.
You're terrified.
Oh my god.
You're terrified about going outside, aren't you?
Is it that obvious?
Obvious would be a word, sure. Not that anyone could or really would blame you.
I don't know if it's outside or anything. The fear of dying just scares me more.
If I had to guess, it'd probably be It's probably the fear of death. That's a fairly normal reaction after all.
How normal is normal?
Well, death is probably the most important thing for a lot of people. How much time we have left and stuff.
Him using the word reminds me of the dream I had, and I tremble upon thinking about it.
Would it help if we talked about it?
You'd be willing to do that?
Wouldn't be the first, but I doubt it'll be the last time that I've had to talk about death. If anything, it helps me out by talking to.
Help? How? Are you scared about dying too? Roswell's gaze dips to the floor for a moment as he shuffles uncomfortably on the spot. Eventually, though, he looked back to me with a quick nod, his voice held low.
Maybe not in the same way as everyone else, but yeah, occasionally it keeps me up at night. But you know, everyone has a thing like that, so I guess it's not that abnormal. If it'll help you, though, we can easily go over it together. Again.
That would be great, thanks. But, where should we have the talk?
Where's the most comfortable place for you? Bedroom? Dining room?
My eyes wandered over to the room off to the side, and I pointed it out to him quietly. That place works. It's nearby, quiet. I think the others will be upstairs watching a movie anyway. We made our way over, and as soon as Roswell had entered, I quietly closed the door behind him, so we had some privacy.
So, where did you want to start?
Any suggestions?
Well, how about I talk about how I feel about things, and then if that works for you, great. If anything, might serve to guide you on where to ask questions of your own.
Sure, that could work. We took a seat. We took a seat down. Okay. On some of the cushioned chairs about the room, while Roswell gathered his thoughts, nodding slowly once he'd figured out where he wanted to start.
So, death. It's not that scary, really. It's going to happen at some day? Okay. And, there's really no fighting it. Granted, some have to face it sooner rather than later, and that's probably the most unfair thing.
I whined, immediately thinking about Dad. He died too soon, sooner than what I wanted anyway. You had us
worried for a while. Orlando, Haas, and I mean, you just noticing over time how you'd become so withdrawn. We were worried that if we left you alone,
I'd what?
Leave us permanently.
Oh. The two of us stayed quiet for a time as what Roswell had said sunk in. I'd thought about it a couple times.
I'm certain a few of us have. I have at least. I'd hazard a guess that, and say that most, if not everyone, thought about what it'd be like at some point. But acting on it is different.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
The mind has a great deal of subconscious defenses to keep us safe, you know? You might think you want to die, but something deep down that you can't interact with stops you from going through with it.
And, but it still happens, right?
Well, yes, but that's the difference. Those that say that they want to die, and those that can overpower that barrier, they're the ones you really need to watch out for.
I whined, shuffling uncomfortably on the spot on the couch. If anything, I wasn't sure how to feel, as I wasn't reassured that I can't go through with what I'd considered twice, but that I didn't notice if I could overcome that barrier he spoke of. What about you?
What?
You know, do you think you could ever,
Maybe. That's the There's other things that guided me away from really thinking about it. At this point, I've mostly just accepted that when my time comes, that's going to be it.
Just like that?
Just like that. Maybe it's because I've been so interested in the occult that I've become a bit strange like that. It's become a bit strange like that. Ouija boards and alike. You know how it is.
Has any of that ever, worked?
I wish I could tell you that it'd be able to talk to ghosts of those already gone, Dave. Not only because I know who you'd want to talk to, believe me. If I could, I would.
I nodded slowly, a dull throb lingering in my chest, as what fleeting hope I'd built from hearing my dad again shattered. It's okay. I was just curious.
To be honest, there's a bunch of other things that held me along too. Researching what my expected lifespan would be, different accounts of what death might be like.
I'm sorry. I would have assumed that you would have been more like, an existential crisis or something about how much time you have left.
What? You thought that I'd decide to eat healthier or exercise just to live longer?
And that's what I assumed you were getting at.
For me, I'd rather enjoy what time I have left. Having more time doesn't really mean much unless you do something with it, right?
So, what sort of thing have you got in mind?
Something I'll probably run out of time to do, but it's special to me anyway.
Okay, but what is it exactly?
It's special to me, Dave.
Yeah, and you're special to me. Roswell seemed taken aback by that comment, but giggled all the same.
That's nice of you to say, Dave.
I had a dream about you last night. Nothing overly major, but you were there when we got home. His smile faded away upon me saying that, and I frowned. What's wrong?
Nothing. Just something about just thinking about something.
Okay, but what? The thought of going home, I didn't think it'd cause that sort of reaction, given what's been going on around here.
Consider it more. Thinking ahead to everyone else, where everyone else will be. Or who will still be around and who won't be.
As in, travel plans?
As in, who'll be left alive. Not that I'm, pessimistic or about someone dying. Quite the opposite. I guess just more worried about the danger we find ourselves in.
We're all going to get out, right? Roswell doesn't seem convinced, not giving me an indication one way or another. As far as I know, getting through to the end of the month was meant to be the key to avoiding this mark of death thing Oswin had mentioned.
Of course we are.
I hope so, Roswell. I don't think I could deal with, this vacation getting worse.
I'm sure things will work out just fine, Dave. As soon as we, don't go looking for danger, we should be okay. So no more running off into the forest alone, alright?
I smirked, resting back on the chair I was sitting in and sized him up. Says the one that went into the forest by himself looking for mushrooms.
Hey, that was before anything bad happened.
Tell me though, did you see anything out there? Anything at all?
Nothing that I haven't already told you, I think.
Not even that rabbit?
No rabbit. Or much else, really. Just forest.
You didn't follow the river at all, or?
Nope,
He scratched his chin, sighing out.
Well, that's a lie. I went downstream a little and ran into a cliff where the river just flowed out over the edge. So far down that it seemed like it would fall off the world itself.
And then you went upstream?
Pretty much. Settled in by a little campsite and just spent the night there. Walked back when things were light out again.
So those syringes and the little bottle.
What about them?
Nothing, I guess. I sighed out, shaking my head. It was probably for the best that Roswell didn't seem to know what I was getting at. Even if he was lying, I had no way of knowing. But until I could figure out why they were there in the first place, I was stuck. There was something else I wanted to know too.
What?
Have you, figured out yet what kind of love you have for me yet?
Oh, that.
He smiled and looked away, almost daydreaming about something.
I think so, yeah. Or at the very least, I'm pretty close to being certain.
That sounds like a good thing, right?
It probably is. But I'm not going to let it get in the way of you recovering.
What if, it's helping me recover?
I don't think this, will help you recover, Dave. One thing at a time. Besides, what about you liking Dean? Don't tell me you've, gotten bored of him already.
Not you too, Roswell.
I'm guessing Orlando's been overly eager still.
You have as well. It's kind of annoying.
I'm sorry.
Is it just because I was sad that you kept pushing us together? Because that seems like more of an Orlando thing to do. More than an Orlando thing than something you'd do.
No, it wasn't that.
So, was it some like a self-esteem thing?
No, not that either.
Then what? We've been friends long enough that we shouldn't be hiding the important stuff if it's bothering us, right?
It's not that simple, Dave. It's not even a problem of you not understanding either.
Then tell me. He sighed out, slumping in his chair and keeping his gaze averted.
I can't, not yet. But I promise that someday, soon, I'll tell you.
You better keep that promise, Roswell. The moment you can, I want to know.
All right, I promise. Consider it closer to, like, spoiling a birthday surprise. I want to tell you, but I can't just yet.
Satisfied for now. Satisfied for now that at least he had something not immediately bad, I sighed out, scratching my head.
What's the matter?
I just don't know what's going to happen next. It's worrying me to no end on top of everything else.
Relax, Dave. Give yourself a chance to breathe, and something will, turn out okay. And things will turn out okay.
Coming from the one who decided to live his life hard and fast.
Would it help if we, went and did something productive then?
Like what? I don't really feel like studying again.
No, not studying. That's for later. And more than likely, without you, made your stance on it perfectly clear.
Then what?
Well, what we could do is rest. Maybe join the others for the movie.
You said something productive.
Rest is productive.
Next, you'll be suggesting we grab a snack and claim that that's also productive.
I'm sure I could find a way to make that work, sure.
So long as we don't hang out with the others, that's fine.
You don't want to hang out with the others because...
I just don't think I'm ready to do just that. I'm ready for that just yet.
Fair enough. That works for me anyway. So with that in mind, how about you take a nap and we can do something after you've had some rest.
But I'm not tired. As if on cue, I yawned, covering my mouth with a hand and rubbing my eyes. I'm just still waking up, I guessed. Or need more coffee.
See yourself. But I figured you're going to pass out sometime after lunch.
I think that's a good place to end the part. So I'll see you around, everyone.